Alright, first of all, you may be asking, Cup, why is the script right there? I can see it. I don't need to see that. Well, I don't know where else to put it, and I don't want to have to tilt my head over to look at it. So, this is where it's stuck, okay? This is what you're getting. Tsukihime is one of the weirdest games I have ever played, and absolutely the weirdest visual novel probably ever. Now, right off the bat, it may sound like I have more substance behind my words, because I do. I made a script. Improv is hard. So this will be a new thing I do sometimes if I feel like it. Kind of like a review, but it's just me wanting to hear the sound of my own voice. I want to talk about a thing because I can. So, Tsukihime is really weird. This is very often cited as the grandfather of visual novels. Even more so when it comes even more so than like Negapara or Higurashi. This means a lot more tropes and cliches take root or basically just come from Tsukihime. It wasn't the first, not at all. In fact, contradictory to what I said earlier, this really isn't the grandfather of visual novels. Yeah, I just lied to your fucking face. Think about it like this. With isekai, two things come to mind that really cement themselves as pioneers or grandfathers of their product. SAO and Mushoku Tensei. SAO because it's basically what made the genre popular in the first place, and Mushoku Tensei because it's the first one to be, like, good, you know? Tsukihime is neither of these. See, the only people that call this the grandfather of visual novels are like Tsukihime fans and some Fate fans that know of it. I think it's the grandfather of visual novels because it like came out before Fate Stay Night. See, it just so now that I've effectively wasted your time, let's actually talk about Tsukihime. Oh yeah, one more thing. I didn't play the remade version. I'm waiting for that to get officially translated in like the next fucking 20 years or something. So, the game opens up with main character San waking up in the hospital after a car crash and stabbing his bed. He stabbed his bed because he saw a line in it and wanted to stick something in it. A situation I'm sure almost all of us can relate to. After this, the doctor comes in and asks why he did that, and main character Kun says, "The lines!" The doctor, of course, thinks he's crazy and leaves. This makes main character Chan sad, so he runs away and meets his mentor, who's in this scene and only this scene in the entire visual novel, I'm pretty sure. She gives him some glasses, says some nonsensical fate nonsense, and leaves. Now, this is where everything pretty much began for fate nonsense. See, fate nonsense is a staple of Type Moon properties nowadays. It makes everything interconnected, but also not interconnected at all, and it's all a big clusterfuck of fuck nothing. And that is where all of this started, pretty much. So anyway, after all of that, we get the best scene in the visual novel. One scene that makes me cry every time, just how fucking amazing it is. See, time skip forward, we find out that main character Tan's real name is actually Shiki, and he reveals to us that he's actually the worst written character ever. This sequence of events always makes me fuck, wait. So after Shiki moves in with his sister again and follows her home. Motherfucker. Into Maze, he goes to school. Now pay attention here. Shiki, she's Arsuide, smells her from across the street and follows her home. He details how he wishes he could eat her out or just like murder her and how he wishes he could just pin her down on the street and mutilate her. A situation I'm sure any fellow teenage boy watching can relate to. So when she gets home, he loses her, so he sniffs each mailbox until he smells her and goes to the room corresponding to the mailbox with her smell. He knocks on her door and she opens it, And when she opens it, he slices her up into a bunch of tiny pieces. After this, he goes in and starts panicking because he just mutilated some random lady he saw on the street. I'm sure any fellow Japanese boy, a situation I'm sure any fellow Japanese boy can relate to. Now, this is where I was sure that Arsui used like some kind of weird vampire magic or something to get him to do that. But after doing her endings, she never admits to anything like that, or even mentions that she did to do anything like that. She even mentions that she has like a weird charm ability to make humans like her, but apparently Shiki just kind of decided to do this off his own free fucking wheel. Even starting the Akiha route, he considers going after her just when he sees her, but he just decides to look for his genocidal childhood friend in that route. I'm gonna start fucking highlighting, Jesus Christ. So this means that the mutilation he did on Arsuid was just completely in character for him. I'm gonna stop here because I know if I don't just stop talking about this scene now, I'm never going to stop talking about this scene. I have thought so much about the scene, it's not even fucking funny. I'm sure some type moon shills will try to tell me that it was because of some moon thing or that her aura made him, but please, for all of us type moon fans, for once in your lives, shut the ever-loving Christ up. So after the whole deal, so after that whole ordeal, she comes back for revenge and decides that, you know what, no, I'm gonna be the bigger man hand and man here and let you off easy. Just be my eye slave and we'll let bygones be bygones. Shiki replies to this by saying, "What's wrong with you, crazy bitch, whore, dumb fucking vampire, dead ass, bitch ass, piece of shit?" So then they start working together to find Roa. They kill Nervum Kasur on the way, and for the record, I really didn't have to look up his name. I spent so much time making fun of the fact that this man's name is spelled Nervum Kasur but pronounced Nero, that I just always called him Nervum Kasur, and it just got burned into my mind forever. I could say this man's name off demand if I wanted to. Nervum Kasur. And then there's some out of place action scenes that are all really stupid and some weird subplots in the background that nobody knows, that nobody cares about. But it ends with having but it ends with you having sex with Arasui and killing Roa forever. Now I want to talk about Tsukihime's ending. See, the true endings are actually pretty solid and tugged at my heartstrings a bit. For Arasui, you keep your promise to meet her at your school one more time and see what it's like. Say your final goodbye to the woman you love and think about how she stayed strong and smiled until the end while you just stood there and felt sorry for yourself, knowing that she'll only live on in your heart and eventually accepting that she's gone forever. See, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of skimmed over her route, but it ended with Arsui going back to where she came from. See, see the fine being released from the purpose she was forced to have since birth, and things that was, I don't know. I kind of just skimmed CL's ending. I'm not gonna lie. I don't I remember watching the ending and I was like, wait, am I fucking dead or like I I I, I haven't done any other routes yet, but I have gotten the good endings. These ones are goofy as fuck and borderline take away from the impact of the true endings. Our Sweets is tame enough. It does take some impact away from the Jesus Christ. True ending though, I think this is because the good endings feel like they happen after the true endings, you know? Like the true ending happens and then you get to the good endings. It's weird. So you get up to go to school like normal, about a week after the story happens, and you just kind of see her waiting for you on the way. She gives you some type moon nonsense about how she survived, and you skip school to hang out with your anime waifu. I told you these were. I told you these things were really stupid. See all those words. Not when you just have to submit the Arsuid, and as a result, everyone is alive and well. Arsuid's still around. Even though you did the CL route and you apparently have two girlfriends now, a situation I'm sure anyone else who played this game could never relate to. Broken immersion 0 out of 10. Like I said, I haven't done the other endings yet, but I have to imagine they're pretty much the same. Just learning more about how Akira was about to heal your wounds magically. Why Husui is Taishi's favorite to draw, and how Kohaku's a samurai. The dumb shit nobody cares about. That right there is the game's biggest weakness. It has a weird obsession about trying to make you care about the lore of the game more than the goddamn characters of the story. They spend like an hour at a time, like no joke, like half an hour to an hour at a time just explaining like why something happened. It's like Naruto, but so much more egregious. This guy's are down. It gets so bad that sometimes they actually explain the same thing twice. Like no joke. it's it's ridiculous. The game just doesn't understand that we have time to, and we don't want to waste it listening to the details of each beast Nervenser keeps in his ass, and it just drags on. I normally wouldn't even point this out, but it's just downright offensive how they want me to learn so much about the world when I'm genuinely just invested in the characters. I want to stop hearing about the church and get back to having interactions with other people in the world. The characters are actually pretty solid, I didn't care too much about CL going in, but after seeing her ending, I'm thinking about going back and doing her route again once I see what Eclipse is supposed to be. I'm excited to do that. Now let's talk about the music. Music is actually pretty solid. It's all pretty good until you get hit with the... Oh, right. Oh, gosh. See, it'll just be silent, and then that's just downright terrifying. Like, imagine you're just playing a game normally, and then just so fucking weird. uh, I swear, the game will be quiet for like, it'll just go quiet for like a minute. You load. I had to like load old save files just to see if I like accidentally muted the music or something without knowing. And I load up the save, and no, the music's just fine. It's playing just fine. So you're just in a little silent spot in the game, and then you come back, it's silent again, and then eventually, once you get through enough, and it just hits you with the like that shit is just so loud too. Like this is the loudest song in the game, and it's just supposed to be foreboding. How does that happen? uh, you just kind of get jump scared, which is there's actually another issue with this game that a lot of all the music is pretty good, even that track there. It's just all really misplaced. It's it's so weird sometimes. Like on their own, each OST is pretty good, but they're all like horribly misplaced. Like I think they need a different song for for like tense moments. Oh yeah, also one more thing. While I was writing for the script for this, I was listening to the new Tsukihime soundtrack, and I found I found this. Yeah, I don't know why you fight a fucking Silent Hill enemy in Tsukihime. That's weird as shit. Anyway, where did I leave off? Uh, so I said in the beginning that this game is pretty weird. But after hearing this, you're probably thinking like it sounds pretty tame, nothing insane, not a little boring and kind of strange in places. But let me close out here, right? All right, asshole. Not everything's about you, okay? All right, thank you. Now that we have that prick out of here, uh, I had an overall okay time with the game. there are some issues I didn't mention, like how when you make one wrong choice in a route, you completely fail. But the easiest way to play the game comes with a walkthrough, so it seems like a kind of non-issue. Like when you down, like the easiest way to actually play the game, like find it online, comes with a walkthrough. So it doesn't really makes it comes with a walkthrough, so it makes it pretty easy. But like, does that make the game worse? If you almost have to rely on the guide to get a decent ending, I don't know about that, but it's not. I didn't, I didn't, I didn't really see this as too much of an issue or anything. So let's just wrap this sucker up. I look back fondly on my time in this game. I enjoyed the characters. They were a lot of fun to be around, and there's tons of replayability. Almost too much, actually. Jesus Christ, there's a lot. However, I actually don't really remember enjoying myself that much while I was playing it. I remember thinking most of the time, like, yeah, right. Can I get the fuck out of here now? Which is pretty odd. Like, unlike other visual novels, it kind of feels like it's only the, like, really good in hindsight, which is so strange. I didn't have any moments where I was, like, laughing at something someone did or said, well, except that, like, first scene I mentioned where he's just mutilated Archie, that was pretty funny. Most of the dialogue is just exposition. It's really weird. It only got really interesting when Archie started losing her shit towards the end, and Ro was pretty. Also, Ro was a pretty lame villain, but I don't want to get into that too much. He was like kind of a weird evil scientist, and in CL's route, he didn't really do anything. You learn that he loved Arsui, but that's about it. Like, see what I mean? You don't really have a good time playing the game, but looking back at it is a pretty nice feeling. I feel like this is because the endings are pretty good, that it makes the rest of the game feel better, but that also doesn't really feel like it's the actual solution. Like, that doesn't sound right. Game leaves a lot of questions, which I'm guessing is to make you play through it multiple times. And to that, I think there's really only one way I know how to close this out properly. Why is this? Okay. This is what Neko Arc looked like originally. Bye.